Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason. As always, my co-host, Zack Partridge. That way. Round 2. What's cracking?
Oh, beautiful Monday. Got done with some sweet kickboxing with my wife.
How was that?
Me and Hillary did some sweet kickboxing this morning.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. She's coming along.
That's
and
awesome,
Cole
man.
Faust. We had a nice little trio. Me, Cole Faust, and my wife.
That was it? Nobody else showed up for kickboxing?
There's 2 others, but that was it. The morning classes sometimes are a little slim, and it's spring break, so people are off doing stuff.
Dude,
I'm trying to launch a business, so it's not like I'm going anywhere.
We had a pretty eventful, fun weekend this weekekend.
Dude,
Cruising up to see some Mountain Force fights.
Yeah, last second, I was the wingman. Last second wingman.
My daughter bailed on me. Shaylee was supposed to go watch the fights, and
Shaylee,
Dad's just not cool. It's it was a far drive to drag.
It doesn't matter how cool you think you are. Like, do you hear Derek Lewis on Joe Rogan? He's like, dude, my kids don't even.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah.
He's like they're one of their neighbors said something about, they're like, your dad's like a celebrity. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah, we don't.
He's just our dad. He's a fat guy that shouldn't walk around with his shirt off.
His kids are all ripped. Yeah.
These kids are all ripped and make fun of him for having a belly. He's one of the baddest dudes on the planet. It's so funny.
But yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with those Mountain Force fights on Saturday.
I will say this. The quality of fights were good. They were very good. They brought a good. They brought a lot of good fighters that were ready and were trained. Yeah. There was. I'm not going to call anybody out, but there were a couple fights where I was like, "Oh, this person's not ready for this." But I mean, sometimes that's just amateur fighting too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, man, they were good. It was good.
It was a fun night.
Everybody we had on the podcast showed up really well.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't have the 2 guys that were fighting in the main event on, we would have swept it, and everybody that we had on all won. Mina won.
He did great.
First fight, and
nothing to hang your head at.
No.
He almost
finished it.
Tyson admitted it was tight. He almost got the finish. He almost got it.
That was impressive, man. Like, you mentioned it a couple times. He's like, oh man, he's got that in tight.
It was tight. It was tight. When the forehead starts going purple, it's tight.
Yeah. Mina got a super impressive win 15 seconds in.
Oh, shout out Mina. The best part is the girl, when she walks right by us and on her way to the cage, she goes, I'm going to F this girl up. I'm going to F her up. And she's like screaming it intense. I was like, man, she looks serious. First exchange. Nope. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
You know what's funny is they always say never judge a book by its cover, but I bet you if you went in there and you saw them 2 in the cage, you were probably thinking that other girl's going to just roll Mina. Like, Mina's just got a big smile on her face, she's innocent looking, and then dude, her combinations were just that right hook.
Dirty.
Yeah, nice. And then Yvonnya comes in, which
she's a monster.
Super tough opponent too. That was also 2-0.
She was game. It was a good fight, but that opponent was just, she was, I don't know what I should say. She was just outclassed. Like she was tough and she was good. Like, I mean, that was for 2 AMI girl fighters at a bantamweight, right? 135 pounds. Like,
yes,
I thought that was a pretty high level fight.
I thought it was a great fight, and she came away with the win with an armbar.
Yvonnya, she is this new breed that we keep talking about, though, that's coming, and I keep talking about it. The Cole Faust, the kids that are growing up doing this.
Yep,
that's what she looks like, and she's complete everywhere. She has good striking. She has really good hands. I was really impressed with her hands. And then, when she was done with the feet, she has the ability to take the fight where she wants to. She can keep it on the feet and she can take it to the ground whenever she wants. And, we got to meet her and her family after. Her dad was super nice and just guy. Cool family, good everything.
And then the other fight that I was super impressed on, which we didn't get a chance to get Ladd on, Aspen Ladd's brother, Sealor. Did I say it's Sealor? That's Shaylor. Dude, for an 18-year-old kid, man, to take his first MMA fight out of state against a guy that's 25 pounds bigger than him, to kind of get ragdolled the first round and to be able to keep that composure, to come back and end up finishing the fight. I was really impressed with what that kid was able to do. Really impressed.
That was ridiculous.
He's another one of those guys that he's probably had been training since he was a little kid. I mean, look at his sister.
No.
I mean,
Well, and I mean, his composure for an 18-year-old was insane. That was insane.
How many kids break on those slams? He got slammed like 4 times, suplexed
4 times in the first round.
4 times. That guy picked him up and slammed him, and he stayed composed, didn't look flustered, stuck to his game plan, was on his back the whole first round.
Kind of got beat up.
Didn't take any real hard shots, but he was able to avoid a lot of them.
But the dude on top of him is 250 pounds. It doesn't feel good to be down there.
Yes, man, impressive. And then obviously we just got off the podcast with Tyson. Shout out to Tyson. Impressive win. Love watching that guy fight. Didn't get a chance to meet Noyes in person, but I'm going to ship him out some apparel later on this afternoon so he can get some damage plan swag.
Absolutely.
And
just good to have local fights going. It was fun.
Oh, so nice to just cheer and lose my freaking voice. And yeah. UFC 260. We didn't get to watch it live, but
we watched some of the fights.
Yeah,
we watched some of the fights.
Well, should we just start at the bottom?
Sure.
Talk about which ones we missed, which was the first one.
Yeah. Oh, I watched it.
Barrel. Yeah, I rewatched that this morning in Abu Azatar. We both were on Azatar. Looked good in the first round. Seemed like he gassed a little bit in the second round, and then from there it was just.
Yeah, the Mark put on a pretty good pace. Like he kept a pretty high level pace. I think Azatar carries around too much muscle.
I think so too. I think he's too
huge.
Small. Yeah,
he's huge.
What did you think of the stoppage?
It's horrible. That ref was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, I watched it, and it's like
it just didn't. The logic just didn't make sense.
No.
When he did stuff, and I mean, I only have to go off of like what I've seen other refs and how they handle those situations.
Yeah,
it just didn't make sense to me. And he let him take a beating for way too long, and then heard the clapper, and then stopped the fight with 7 seconds left. It's like,
yeah, it's pointless.
Why? Like, why stop it? Like, he wasn't taking an insane amount of damage opposed to what he was before. Like, what? I don't know. It was just funny. But I mean, the right person won. He definitely won the fight, and he would have won it on a judge's scorecard. So that's fine. We saved us 7 seconds of our life, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Next up, we had Omar Morales and Shane Young. We were opposite on this one. I was wrong. I took Shane Young. I took a chance.
Yeah.
Omar Morales is a beast, man.
He's huge for featherweight, and he can impose his will on fights.
He is a monster at
a monster.
It blows me away. The guy looks like he's 170, 185 in the
He might be. He might be over 170. He might be one of those guys that cuts 20, 25 pounds.
I don't know how he does it and keeps his energy like that, but yeah, strong win for him as well. Next up, we had Mikhail Olakazinskuk against Bukakis.
Got that one right. Close split decision, but
super close split decision.
I actually thought that Mikhail was going to lose when he won the split decision. I was pleasantly surprised from my pick.
Did you watch it? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's ending right now on my TV. I was trying to watch him right now.
Yeah, I watched that one on the drive up. Remember? We were watching it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I actually thought that Bukakis was winning the fight, but Mikhail eked out the split decision.
Let's see something real quick. I'm going to just look at the MMA decisions online. It looks like, as far as the media scores, these are guys from like MMA Junkie, MMA Mania, Sherdog. Everybody had it for Bukakis except for one guy.
Yeah,
had it the other way.
Just from me watching it, remember I'm watching it without no audio or anything, and I'm just watching it, and it looked to me like Bukakis was winning the fight. So
interesting that many people, and it ended up going the other way. I'll have to watch it.
But again, to just try and be fair and not always be critical of judges, people usually aren't scoring the fights the correct way either, off the criteria that the judges are scoring it. So
because you have Michael Bisping yelling, saying,
"Stop it!"
He kicked him with 3 seconds left in the round. He stole the round.
You stop it. He's never said that.
Freaking moron. Yeah, he does. He says it every time.
You hater.
You
keep sipping that haterade.
If you only have one eye, you should not be allowed to commentate a fight.
Well, why did he have that eye? Because he's a freaking gangster. He won the UFC belt with one eye, dude.
Well, that's fine, but I don't want you calling my fights. Our fights. I should say our. They're not my fights. They're ours.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Bisping's a legend.
I'm not alone in this. You just happy because you won money.
You need to be more respectful of the count.
All right. Next up, we had Nurmagomedov and Jared Gooden. I think we both knew how that one was going to go.
Yep, sure did. I don't care. I don't care what your name is. If your last name is Nurmagomedov and you have a Russian flag, I am picking you every time. Thank you.
I hate Bisping, Jackson, and Jason. See, Jackson's on my side.
But who cares what Jackson thinks? He's a crybaby about everything.
Oh, man.
So Jackson, you didn't come to the gyms on Saturday like you said you were going to try to. You didn't come, so sorry.
This Saturday,
you both want to see there.
I'll be there this Saturday.
I'm going to choke both of you.
Next up, we have Alonzo Minifield taking on a short notice fight in Fabio Serrant, and this ended
Von Flue choke.
It looked nasty too.
Yeah, Alonzo
nasty.
But that was like our first lock. Like we knew that one was coming. Like that's just that. Fabio, congratulations. Like good effort. Like I appreciate the short notice and this is your shot and taking it. There's literally no downside. Like he wasn't supposed to win the fight, so it's okay. But like sometimes when you know, and we knew.
We saw it last weekend with Hunsaker when he fought Tai Tuivasa. Same thing, same scenario. It's a win-win for him. He loses, he still wins.
Harry Hunsaker got a contract out of it.
Yeah, he got a contract. By the way, we're trying to get him on the podcast too. So
yeah, added me on Facebook, said he'd come on. Harry Hunsaker, what's up?
Jamie Malarkey and Kamara Worthy.
Okay, we were dead wrong on this one.
Wrong in this one.
I was so wrong.
Dead wrong. I thought Worthy would just be too much for him, and that was not the case.
Time out. So was Worthy a little bit of a hype?
I don't know.
He knocked out Devontae Smith with that devastating left hook, and then he caught Luis Pena in that guillotine choke. And remember, he was like, he was almost getting like the Joaquin Buckley, like, like this guy's going to be really good, Death Star and all this. And then he gets knocked out twice in the first round quick. Like maybe he's not ready for that high level yet. And to be honest, I thought he was losing the Luis Pena fight, and then he caught him in a guillotine, which props, but
let's say the Azatar fight. Let's face it, he's still undefeated. Like, isn't that the guy that got cut and got That's not him, is it? It is the guy that's tried to sneak the stuff in over in the little bubble.
Fight Island. Yeah.
So he's legit. I'll take that. And I don't know.
Malarkey was coming off a 2-fight losing streak, though. Like that's a fight. If you're worthy, like you kind of expect to win.
Gotta win that one. Yeah.
Well, I said I loved Worthy and the over 2.5 because of Malarkey was so durable, and Malarkey just shut that all the way down.
Yeah, he proved us way wrong on that one.
That's okay.
And let's face it, Worthy's 34 years old. Like he's kind of like. It's kind of right on that edge, really. Next up, we had Miranda Maverick, Julian Robertson.
We were wrong on that, but
I think we took it. We took a chance on that one. Like it wasn't. It wasn't a lock for sure.
No, we said it. We're like Miranda's like. Julian's she's crafty. I haven't had a chance to watch that fight yet. I'm almost guessing that she got stuck on the bottom because she hangs out there. I haven't seen it there, but
I didn't see it either. But just looking at MMA decisions, every member of the media had Maverick win in 29-28, and 2 out of the 3 judges had it 30-27. One judge gave the second round to Robertson. So
I'm interested to see the stats on this, like control time and all that stuff. Can we see that? I think I can look it up actually.
That's on the UFC app, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Tapology, so I can't see it on
Here,
Tapology.
let me just.
But yeah, we
quick.
called it, and without even watching the fight, I think you nailed it. You're right on. Like, she probably just got controlled the whole time. She got on the bottom.
She's so slick in jujitsu. It's very easy to get comfortable on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I do it. I've noticed I do. I have to like flip this switch when I'm in fight camps to be like, okay, I cannot be content being on the bottom because I will lose fights if I hang out on the bottom too much. I like being on the bottom. Miranda Maverick completely outstruck her, 131-32, significant strike, 71-27. And she won the control time. She spent 4 minutes and 40 seconds on top. So, I mean, yeah,
There you go.
she controlled. She probably dictated the pace. And
what's next for Jillian Robertson now? She's on a. She's basically alternating wins and losses, going back all the way back to 2019.
yeah, but you know what? Too, she fights everybody.
That is true, and she's young. She's only 25.
She's only 25, and it's not like she doesn't have bad losses though.
No.
Look at her last 3 losses in the cage. Miranda Maverick 8-2, Tilia Santos 16-1, and Macy Barber, who's supposed to be like the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and then Mayra Bueno Silva, who was 5-0 when they fought. All 4 of her losses in the UFC have been against girls with undefeated or one undefeated. The person that she lost, since she's been in the UFC, she lost to an undefeated fighter, a girl that was 16-1, and a girl that's 8-2.
Yeah.
She only loses to like elite up and comers. And then she beats, Paola Patello, who was 8-2. She beats Courtney Casey. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Sarah Frodo, who was 9-1. I mean,
So she's not going anywhere.
No,
she'll be
she's
there.
fine, man. She's a mainstay, and she's young. She's this girl that kind of maybe doesn't have the prettiest record, but dude, I'm not sure when, but the next one could always be the beginning of a huge run for her. I'm a believer because she has the heart and she has the skills. She just needs a little bit more experience, I feel like.
Yeah. But now you got Miranda Maverick, who's only 23, and she's 2-0 in the UFC. Beats Pearl Gonzalez in Invicta. Beats our girl Deanna Bennett, which was she had lost to Deanna earlier that year.
Previously, yeah.
6 months later, she comes back and ends up beating her. So that's a huge win. She's making some waves too.
Macy Barber.
That's next.
Meet her and Macy Barber.
Does Macy have a fight lined up? She does, doesn't she?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I'm gonna look before we go on to the next fight real quick because I gotta see this. Maybe not. I'll look it up later. We'll talk about that one later.
Let her and Macy bang it out.
That's a good young gun fight. I like it. All right. Next up, I got the Gooden and Nurmagomedov fight on. Next up, we had Sugar Sean O'Malley and Thomas Almeida. This is another one that I think we pretty much.
I'm actually really angry that the ref didn't stop it because I predicted a first round KO, and I think the ref could have stopped it in the first round when he dropped him. When he dropped him and then hit him with another hand and dropped him again against the cage. And Shawn thought he had the walk off and he thought it was over. And then the ref let him keep going. And then he hit him with that spinning back kick. He could have stopped. He could have stopped it right then. And I would have been, give me the genie hat, give me everything.
Yeah, you would have nailed that one. Dude, Sean O'Malley's gonna be a problem, man. Did you see Dom Cruz wants that fight? Dom Cruz is saying he wants
that would be the first time where I'm like, I'm all in on the young gun. That I do not think that ends well for Dominic Cruz.
Likewise.
That ends really badly for Dominic Cruz, I think. And I hate seeing that because I love Dominic Cruz and I love a lot of those old guys. But remember when we watched Uriah Faber versus Peter Yan?
That's what we'd be watching.
I think we'll see him just get beat up. O'Malley's so long, and his fight IQ. So he's a dork, right? Like let's call it what it is. He's a goofball. He's a big character. He's kind of a dork, you know. Dude, I mean, come on, like but he's smart and he's marketable. But if you listen to his podcast, he's intelligent. He knows what he's doing.
I've never listened to his podcast. I've never listened to it.
Nutrition and stuff, dude. He knows his
he's
stuff.
on it. What's the name of his podcast? I'm gonna have to look this up.
Dude, he's intelligent, but
I'll figure it out.
Let's see. I think it's the Sugar Show.
Oh yeah, I think that is right. The Sugar Show.
The show's Mo's Zone. Timbo Sugar Show podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
But he's smart and he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to market himself. He knows that he has a lot of eyes on him. He knows that people are going to tune in to watch him to lose, but he's just embracing that love me or hate me. You're going to tune in to watch me. And if you're a fighter, that's where you want to be. That's what Floyd Mayweather got to. That's what Conor McGregor's got to, you know, I mean, it's like Kamaru Usman with his skills and how dominant he is. He should be a giant star, but he doesn't. It's not the I hate him or I love him. It's like he's a good fighter, and it's like, yeah, he's dumb. Like he doesn't pull like a passionate like I love this guy or I hate this guy and I want to watch him lose.
He does.
You know what I mean? And O'Malley does. Dude, the trolling. Like even you said, he's like it bugs me. Like the whole. You know, and he does. He's playing it perfectly. He's smart. He has a good business sense, but his fight IQ. He could punish Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I think not a good fight for Dom Cruz. That one might just send him into retirement.
No.
I mean, what other fight do you like for him? I mean, is that the fight to make? Dom Cruz and O'Malley? I think it is. Like, line it up.
You want a big fight for Sean O'Malley?
I saw somebody say,
run it back with Chico Vera. Dude, everybody would watch. People would watch. You could build that up for a solid month. That would be a giant. You could put that as a co-main on a pay-per-view, and that would get a lot of hype. Or do it like a main event on a fight night, dude. That would be a big fight with two guys that are making waves in that bantamweight division.
You're starting to sound like a matchmaker, Zach.
I'd be a good one.
Somebody mentioned possibly Cody Stamann. I saw that on Twitter. Somebody said that Sean O'Malley and Cody Stamann.
It would be interesting. Here's the thing. If you're Sean O'Malley, you probably don't care to just fight like a heavy wrestling based guy like that. Because he's probably not going to. Your path to victory probably isn't going to be a very exciting one.
Yeah.
And Shawn kind of like it's the Sugar Show, right? Like he highlight knockouts people and stuff, and a guy that just kind of is going to take you down. I like Cody Stamann. He's tough and he grinds out people. I'd much rather watch him against like a Dominic Cruz or a Chico Vera rematch.
Kyler Phillips.
That would be a fun fight. That would be a really fun fight.
He's number 14 on there.
I like that a lot, actually. I like that one a lot too.
Right.
I'd give him Dom Cruz though. If Dom Cruz wants to fight him, like that's the thing. He's going to build his name off beating some of those old time guys. Like it's just the way it is.
Yeah, he definitely shoot up in the ranks in there. I got to think by the end of the year he's in the top 10. If he keeps going.
I still think he's a future champion at that weight class. I really do.
That length is just a problem.
It's a big time problem at that weight class. It's ridiculous. He's my size. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Skinny wise.
Co-main event, Vicente Luque and our boy Tyron Woodley.
Hey, let's be fair to T Wood. He had his moment and he actually rocked Luque in this fight.
Yeah.
He had him rocked. The problem is he got rocked and then he got Darce choked.
Man, when was the last time Woodley was submitted like that?
Never.
Has he ever even been submitted?
I don't think so, dude.
Had the rib injury, decision.
Submitted?
He actually Darce choked Till.
Yeah. No, he's never been submitted before.
That's crazy. That's impressive for.
But dude,
Vicente.
I mean, that was I was talking about it. That was I would have bet the house on Vicente Luque.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, for like one fight, I couldn't believe Luque wasn't like a 4-1 favorite. I'm like, this is amazing. You even asked, should we hedge? Because we did the Luque, O'Malley, and Minifield parlay, and I was like, no, I'm not hedging that at all. Vicente, dude, that was free money. Woodley hasn't won a round in 15 rounds in that octagon.
Dude, what is he doing right now? He's 4-fight losing streak. Like, is he done? Should he just call it quits? Do you see Dana giving him another fight?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, for the guy that was such a freaking terror back in the day.
Because here's the thing. It's like, where's he at? Here's the problem too. It's not like he's losing to bums.
No.
He's obviously not an elite championship level fighter anymore, but he's not losing to bums. And at least he had a moment in the Luque fight.
Yeah.
What was concerning for me is the Usman, Burns, and Covington fight. He never even had it was never like, oh, we got something to build off of here. It was like, you just got straight dominated for 14 rounds against those three guys and then lost to a rib injury. Luque, at least he showed like he still has some fight in him and he didn't get dominated, but he's probably going to turn into like a top 15 gatekeeper. If you ask me, he'll probably it depends who they give him next.
Robbie Lawler.
You want to run it back now? Oh,
when did they fight?
We beat him for the title. You beat him for the title.
2016.
Ugh. Both of them seem hesitant to pull the trigger. I don't know. You might get one of them.
I mean, I don't think anybody.
That's probably a WWF loser leaves town match.
I mean, anybody else in that top 15, I don't think it ends well for him. Sean Brady's in the top 15. Bilal Muhammad, maybe? Or Bilal Muhammad probably just kills him too. I don't.
Dude, I actually think Bilal might be matchup-wise, might be a better fight for him.
Than Robbie?
Yeah. It depends. It just depends.
Maybe that's the retirement fight. It was good to see him at least he was firing back and he had a moment in there. And look,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you can't be, he's lost 4 in a row. Well, he's lost 4 in a row to top 10 guys.
I mean,
it's almost the same thing like with Chris Weidman. It's like, yeah, he's losing, but he's losing to all like killers.
That's the UFC nowadays, though. They're all killers, man.
Yeah, but the killers that are unranked, and then you have killers that are probably top 5, 6 in that weight class in the entire world.
Yeah,
he's losing to all like top guys.
He's gotten a bad rep the last year or two for those last few fights, but dude, the guy's got a resume, man. Look who he's beat. Beat Till, beat Maya, beat Thompson.
He wasn't his he's not he doesn't do himself any favors to be likable either.
Yeah. But
I kind of feel bad for him at this point.
I appreciate his resume. I don't know if I care to see him fight again in the UFC, but who am I? I am not writing the check. So,
I mean, to think he was 19-3 at one point, and now he's 19-7. It's like you're gonna have double digits losses by the time you're done.
Where's Luque at in the rankings? Luque was
10.
He was 10.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's like the gatekeeper now. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where he is now. He's not an elite level welterweight anymore.
No,
and he never will be. Never will be again, and that's okay. He's also ascended to the top. It's what Khabib said about Conor, and I'm going to keep going back to this because I think it's brilliant. I love it. Athletes don't have 2 primes in their career. He already had his prime. If he wants to keep going for the love of the sport, that's fine. He's 38 years old. He's 38. Your prime's done.
Yeah.
Can you have maybe some exciting fight? Do you have one more like couple more big right hand knockouts left in you? Probably. But you're not doing it against anybody in the top 10.
No. Well, let's talk about the main event. We both we're wrong on this one too. We both went Stipe. We stuck with the champ, but I don't know about you, but I'm not mad. I mean, Francis is
well, it's not like we said like guaranteed Stipe wins this fight. I
think from a value standpoint, from a betting standpoint, how could you not, man? I mean,
it was Stipe never gets the respect that he deserves. And I stand by that.
I'm with you. I'm
Like,
with you 100%, man.
he's still the greatest heavyweight champion in UFC
Yeah.
history.
And look,
And for the record, he got knocked out. Guess what? It's 1-1. He also ragdolled him the first time they fought.
I just read his post, and it sounds like he wants to run it back. He didn't come out and say it, but just reading his post, he's basically like, okay, now we're even. He said he made a mistake. He's got sloppy in that second round. He felt like things were going his way in the first. I haven't seen the fight yet. And he said he got sloppy, and Francis capitalized. And he said he did applaud them, but unfortunately, I think that now Francis has tasted that. It's going to be hard to pull that belt off of him. I don't see anybody. I really don't. Did you see the difference in the way his body looked at the weigh-ins from the first time they fought?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, you can just tell his training's changed.
His nutrition's changed.
He's at a legit camp now. He's not just bouncing around. Like, dude, he's stuffing takedowns now. He's a problem, man. Derek Lewis?
I'll be honest. This is the conversation. Let's just say this. If Stipe wants that rematch, he's earned it.
Well, yeah, I think so too.
He's earned it. He might not get the immediate rematch, and that's okay, but he's earned it. He should be able to take as much time off, and then as soon as he tells the UFC, "Hey, I'm ready," like, yep. I need 2 months, and anything after that, like whatever, and then book it, because he deserves that, and he's earned it. Personally, for me, if I'm Stipe, you probably don't want to go out on that. But if he retired right now, I would stand up and applaud. And some people are like, nobody should be calling for him to retire. I'm not calling for him to retire, but I'm just saying, I don't think he has anything else left to prove.
No, he has nothing. He did it for 10 years. What do you have? 5 title defenses?
7
at the heavyweight. Like, that's impressive.
He's the GOAT, man. He's the UFC heavyweight GOAT. And Francis could he could reign for a minute. He could. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I talked about it before. I wasn't a believer until I listened to him on Joe Rogan podcast and listened to his story, because I knew a little bit about it, but him talking about his story and how he got here and what he had to go through, dude, I'm all for him making a huge run and longevity and defending that belt multiple times, because I don't really see anybody right now in the heavyweight. Maybe Cyril Gane, maybe.
No.
But even him.
No.
I just
you know who has a chance?
Lewis has a chance.
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis has a damn good chance.
Because Lewis's patience, and he doesn't have the same type of hand speed, but he is fast enough that if Ngannou recklessly charged forward, so that shot that Stipe landed after he got rocked, and landed, I think, like, if Derek Lewis lands that shot, I think he wobbles Francis with that shot, because Derek Lewis has ungodly power, like Francis. He has unreal power, and it's not. He talked about it on the Joe Rogan podcast. Some people, that power it's just genetic and how your body's made.
Yeah. And
some people just carry that type of knockout power. Francis carries it, but so does Derek Lewis. I would definitely favor Francis in that fight, just because I think he's in better shape constantly. But dude, Derek Lewis is a deceivingly great athlete. And just because he doesn't have the washboard abs and 6-pack and all that.
Yeah.
Dude, do not sleep on, after what he did to Curtis Blades, I will never doubt him or sleep on him again.
I think that's the fight to make. Let them fight early fall, late summer. Stipe's wife's getting ready to have a baby, he said on his post, so he probably won't be ready anytime soon. Let's get Ngannou and Lewis back in there.
Okay, well, so Jon Jones.
Do you see his stupid tweets?
Mm-hmm. Did you see he said that Dana hates him?
He's crossing over, not that he wasn't already there, but into annoying territory for me. Like, come on, dude, just shut up. You can't.
No. Hear me out. I've actually been. I was discussing. I wasn't really even arguing, but discussing on a Facebook group. you know, they're like, yo, just quit, whatever, just pay him, just pay him, like just pay Jon. You know, so there's consequences to actions. We learn this as adults, and I know that Jon Jones hasn't always had to act like an adult because he's a gifted athlete at a young age and was given a whole bunch of money. But here's the problem: Jon Jones has burned the UFC more than once.
Yeah.
Right? Dana White would be foolish, and he didn't get to where he was by being stupid and foolish to put all of his eggs in the Jon Jones basket.
Yeah.
Because if he does, he is putting himself in a situation where he could get burned again.
Again. Yeah.
You know,
again.
Do it once, shame on me. Do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me. Like, this is what people don't understand. Somebody's like, well, Conor McGregor gets this. Conor's never burned the UFC. He's never signed for a fight and then had to pull out because of a failed drug test or had to get, and people say, well, it all got cleared. I don't care. The way he conducts his life, he does conduct it in a way that jeopardizes what he's doing in the cage and his reliability. Now he's been good for a while and I get that, but I make the comparison because of their rivalry. Like, DC never got popped for anything. He never even came close. You know,
perception is reality. And if there's smoke, there's fire. Like he's doing something.
He's doing something. And then there's the story of him hiding under the cage at Jackson Wink so that he couldn't do the piss test with the USADA guy and whatever. Like, he just, if I'm Dana White too, you know what? I'm not backing up the dump truck to pay Jon Jones to fight Francis. Cause guess what? You know what I can tie up Francis for 2 more big fights by the end of this year with Derek Lewis and Stipe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could do Derek Lewis sometime this summer, and then you could do Stipe, like, and then you could already have, and then he beats Derek Lewis, and then he could do the Stipe trilogy, and then maybe by then, maybe Gane will be ready by then. Like, dude, I'm sorry, Jon Jones, the UFC doesn't need you.
That's the thing.
He is the greatest in-cage performer to ever grace an octagon. He's dominant. His resume is unmatched. He's never lost.
Yeah.
That one on his record is nobody cares about it. Nobody's ever beaten that man. But you can't put as a businessman, you can't put all your eggs in the Jon Jones basket. And until Jon Jones takes accountability of at least saying, man, that sucks. Okay. And recognizes that. Sorry, dude. Like,
I mean, I'm going to side a little bit with Jones that he should get paid. I agree. He should get paid because I think this would probably be one of the biggest pay-per-views in UFC history if they're able to make that fight. But you can't, you just nailed it. You can't put all your eggs in one basket with him. And if he didn't have that track record that he already has, maybe you're giving him a little bit more leeway, but
if he doesn't have the track record, the fight's already done.
You can't tell me that
the fight's already done if he doesn't have that track record. Dana backs up the truck for him.
And we're kind of speaking because we don't know what the contract details are, but I'd like to know what's the UFC offer him and what does he want? I'd like to see that. Then we could talk about, hey, how far are they apart? Does it make sense? Like, because right now it's just smoke. It's like, okay, they don't want to pay me. Well, do they really not want to pay you? Like, what are you asking for here? Like, nobody knows.
He wants Conor. I'm guessing he wants what he considers Conor McGregor money.
I mean,
but here's the thing.
Why not give him Conor McGregor money for it?
Because what if you offer him Conor McGregor money and you build up this whole event and then he goes on a freaking cocaine bender and misses? Like, it's
but
not.
You don't pay him though. But you don't pay him though, right?
Yeah, but you still lose money because of how much you invested into the promotion of something that doesn't happen.
There's enough fighters out there right now, though, that somebody could slide into that spot very easy.
But they put millions in. Dana will put millions into building up a Francis Jon Jones fight.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, by the way.
I know, but he's gonna put millions into it, and if he puts millions into it, he has to know it's gonna happen. And I guarantee that's where it's coming. If you're Dana, that's where it's coming from. Like, sorry, man, you've burned me. You more than once. I can't.
And yeah, I mean, yeah. How do you see that fight playing out?
I think Jon stays on the outside and picks him apart.
I see. I don't think so.
See, because here's the other thing. Jon is a master of distance control. And I don't.
What if they're in the small cage? Because you got to think.
I think
Stipe had that plan too.
Yeah, but Stipe is not a master of distance control. He's a really good fighter.
If Ngannou gets a hold of him, I don't care how much weight he's put on, he's not going to be used to that type of weight.
But so
there's a difference in putting on 20 pounds of lean body mass, and there's a difference in putting on just 20 pounds of weight, and that's what he's doing right now. He's eating a bunch, he's putting on the weight, but he's not putting on legit lean body mass. Does that make sense? Like it takes time to do that.
But you got to imagine, like, how long is he's been putting on weight for a while.
You get him into a camp, I bet you he's going to drop half of that. He's probably still only going to come in around 220, maybe 230.
I bet she's like 235.
I don't know.
Jon Jones at 235 to 240 is the most dangerous man in that octagon. I don't think
so. Not a heavyweight.
So here's the other thing. Jon's had some kind of like lackluster performances.
Yeah.
I actually think you get one of two ways, because I actually think the only way he wins, I don't think he wins by outpointing fighters at heavyweight anymore. I think he has to go back to the killer that was finishing fights. And I don't know how or where, but this is something that Jon does not get enough credit for. And I'm not Jon's biggest supporter or fan by any means. Dude, his jiu-jitsu's slick. It is slick. And you might be able to argue, since Doom's not there anymore, he might have the best jiu-jitsu in that heavyweight division. And he does have a wrestling background. There's different levels of athletes, and where Francis is freakishly athletic, obviously. I think Jon would be the first time Francis ever fought somebody Jon would be the first time Francis ever fought somebody that was more athletic than him. Jon's more athletic than Francis.
I don't know if he'll be that. I don't know if he will at heavyweight. That's where I'm going to have an issue with it. Okay. It's at heavyweight. At Jon Jones at 230, 240 is not going to be as athletic as Ngannou is at 260, in my opinion. He's not naturally that big of a guy. I mean, he's a big guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's naturally been fighting at light heavyweight. So if you can cut that much weight, you don't have that much lean body mass to be able to, in my opinion, to be.
Brother, I think when we saw him fighting at light heavyweight, he was walking in that cage 225, 230.
I'd be curious. I'd have to see it. I'd have to see him at the weigh-ins after he's had a camp, and because I guarantee you right now, he's probably not. His cardio training is probably nil right now. He's probably just lifting and eating right now. He can't be doing that much legit training right now, or he'd just be dropping that weight. Or this is the only thing that gives me confidence that his athleticism carries at the higher weight. He's from the same mold as his brothers that's a good point.
That are 300 pounds playing defensive line in the NFL.
That's a good point.
He has that same genes. I think he's been not struggling because he does it he was doing it the right way.
Yeah.
But I think it's been taking a lot of work for him to keep the weight off to stay at 205.
Well, I hope he doesn't pop for Osterine before the fight.
He's gonna pop
on weight,
but dude, he's gonna pop for something, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why Dana's like, nah, I'm good. Like we could just book the Derek Lewis fight. Hey, Jon, because all Jon has to do is say, yeah, I want the fight, but he wants a new contract with it.
And you know what's funny is Dana's probably thinking the same along the lines as you are. He's like, we don't need you. We don't need you. He's like, you want to sign the fight? Well, I'll send the contract right now. You can fight right now.
You ready? You ready for this? Who's the face of the UFC?
Ooh, right now?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Give me your top 5 guys that are the face of the UFC, and I guarantee you the real face of the UFC, you won't even say it.
Ngannou is going to be up there 100% right now because of what he just did. He was already ascending to that, but now he's up there. I'm going to say I'm just looking at this because I don't want to miss anybody. Connor's still there.
Okay.
Connor's still there. Who else is gonna be up there? You could say Dustin is in that category right now.
Okay.
He's up there. How many do I got to list?
I said I wanted you to list 5 because I don't
5?
think you're not gonna say the person that I'm gonna tell you is.
Okay. I would say you could probably say Izzy now that he's dropping back down to 185.
Sure.
Izzy. I'll put Izzy in there. And I'm going to put Amanda Nunez on there too.
Okay.
I'm going to put Amanda on there.
So your list is very fair, very valid. You left off Nate Diaz, who's a huge draw. You left off Jorge Masvidal, who's a huge draw. No, I'm talking about the
Masvidal. I did miss Masvidal. Masvidal I like up there too.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? You know who the face of the UFC is?
Who?
It's Dana White.
We're talking fighters, Zach.
No.
Fighters.
No. Listen, as long as Dana White's there, it's Dana White. Because guess what? Conor can come and go. UFC will keep rolling.
True.
All these guys can come and go and keep rolling. But guess what? Dana White is what makes that ship go. And Dana knows it. You
know who else is going to be could sneak in there with the win in his next fight, but I don't think it's going to happen. Michael Chandler. If he beats Oliveira and wins the belt, he's going to be a one to watch too, I think.
He'll be one to watch, but that's actually the unfortunate thing is I still don't think people understand how good Oliveira is.
Oh, I think Oliveira's going to win. I was just throwing that out.
But I'm saying if Michael Chandler beats him, I don't think he's going to get enough respect for beating Oliveira. Like people that are following it and know who Charles Oliveira is, know how good he is. Like, I don't think people understand how good he is. And that if you beat him, that's a big deal. Chandler would get so much more off of beating Gaethje or Poirier than Oliveira.
Yeah.
If Michael Chandler beats Justin Gaethje or beats Dustin Poirier, now you got a legit another star in the lightweight division. But Oliveira just doesn't. He's in the same boat as Leon Edwards, deserving, highly skilled. He's right up there, but nobody really wants to fight you because you're not really a big draw.
That's
the big
he doesn't speak English either. That hurts him here. It hurts him.
I think because when you talk about draws, Francis is going to become a draw, right? Because he already is, because he knocks people out in devastating fashion. And Derek Lewis is a huge draw. Why? Because he has exciting knockouts, and all it takes is one punch. And we saw it in the Volkov fight. Oh, and by the way, that's another one that Francis could fight soon, where they don't need Jon Jones. Because it's dude, there are heavy. Volkov is actually one that I think is really interesting. That I think he gets another win or two, and he should be in the mix too.
He's 5th right now.
Yeah, I mean he's right there, and Francis, Conor still, dude. Conor, I've said it before. Conor, they could put Conor punching a heavy bag and it would sell 1 million pay-per-views. He's just Masvidal's still the show. And as much as me and you don't love it, Nate Diaz is still a giant draw. That's why Vicente Luque called out Nate Diaz.
Smart, real smart.
He's never, guess what? Hey, Vicente, no offense, never getting that fight, bro. Not getting it. Nate Diaz doesn't care to fight you.
He doesn't care to fight. Yeah. Nate wants somebody that's going to give him pay too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Somebody posted a interesting question in the group today about which fighter would you want to see outside of the UFC come in and fight some of these top guys in the UFC.
Give me 1 sec. You can talk on that for a second.
All right. So yeah, there was a question in our Facebook group, in the Damage Plan MMA podcast group, on what fighter outside of the UFC would you like to see come in and make some waves. And my first one was Patricio Pitbull, who's fighting this weekend on Bellator at 145. I'd like to see him fight anybody in that 145, in that featherweight division, any top 5 guy. I want to see Pitbull in, because I want to see if he can do what Chandler did. The other person, because there's 2, is I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong, is Bellator's light heavyweight champ, Nemkov. That guy, Vadim Nemkov, I'd like to see him against any one of the top 5 guys as well. Cause this guy's, what is he now? He's
sorry about that.
Only 28 years old, 13-2. Give me Nemkov and Pitbull in the UFC.
Nemkov versus Jan Blachowicz.
Maybe not even a title fight right away. Same thing with Pitbull. Anybody in the top 5? Give me a top 5. Nemkov could probably actually would be interesting at a title fight. I like that kid, man.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
I think Jan knocks him out though.
It's kind of what I was thinking too.
Polish power, baby.
Polish power.
But, I think you're ready for I think Pitbull beats Volkanovski.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
What about Ortega? Does he beat Ortega?
No.
So you're thinking Ortega's going to beat Volkanovski in what is it?
Yes.
2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks away? Are we?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think Ortega beats him. I feel bad. I do feel bad because I don't feel like Volkanovski gets enough credit because he's insane. He beat Max the first fight, and I give him his credit, but I do not think he beat him the second fight. I
don't either.
I've rewatched that fight like 3 times, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I think Max clearly won 3 rounds. I clearly won 3 rounds. I still can't believe that. But anyways, I think if they run it back, and that's the other thing. Volkanovski, I think he knows he got away with one, and that's why he's like, I don't need to fight Max again, because I think Max actually probably beats him worse.
Jeff says, "Where's Zabit been?"
Dude, he's another one that just can't be active. Like, man, he was supposed to be the man, and like,
well, he's supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez, and then Rodriguez gets in trouble. What is up? Like,
Yair's had some weird stuff, but like,
yeah, really weird stuff. Has Zabit been hurt?
I don't know, man.
Surprised he hasn't gotten a fight. Give me him and Cater.
Oh my! Well, run it back and let it go 5 rounds. Remember, he beat Cater.
That's right. Yeah, and it was super close too.
But he beat Cater, and it was supposed to be a 5-round fight, and it got switched to a 3-round fight. And Zabit beat him the first 2 rounds, but then Cater was pouring it on and almost finished him in the 3rd round. And Zabit was gassed, and if that would have gone to a 4th, 5th round, I bet my house that Cater would have finished him.
That would have been
So that's interesting. I like Zabit, but his gas tank's actually a problem. Like, we've seen it. He fades in the 3rd round bad. So I wonder if they're just trying to figure that out or whatnot.
Well, when was the last time he hasn't fought?
It's like a year and a half.
At least.
Year and a half?
Yeah, 2009. A year and a half. November 2019 against Calvin Kattar was the last fight.
See, the inactivity kills these guys. This is what I wish. It's what I wish they don't understand. I feel like Leon Edwards doesn't understand. It's like, it's not as much about the right fight. It's like, dude, just take fights.
Well, these guys,
look what it did for Kevin Holland.
5-10 years ago, you could do that, but now the pool is just too deep of fighters. Like, if you're not in there and getting in there and fighting, you're just gonna get kind of pushed aside. You don't want to fight.
And again,
we'll bring somebody else in there.
And again, that's what's happening to Jon Jones, right? He's like, I want to get paid to fight. And Dana's like, I don't have to play this game, dude. I got 3 guys that'll fight Francis for his title. And it's Francis, so it's already going to be a huge draw. And
it doesn't do Jon any favors that nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. If this is Conor McGregor calling for that fight, people care. And it has nothing to do with anything other than people just don't like Jon Jones. Toby, we just talked about that. What do y'all think about Jon Jones moving up to heavyweight? Yeah, we just literally just, if you circle back like 10 minutes, we were just talking about that. I don't even know if it's going to happen. He might just play hardball with Dana, and Dana doesn't really care. I do want to see it.
He doesn't.
I want to see it, but I'm not going to throw a fit if it doesn't happen, because I'm not going to say I want to see Lewis and Ngannou over that, but
I'm all for fighters getting paid. I'm all for Dana paying Jon Jones to do it, but John's got to understand, dude. How do you know what though? This is where Jon screwed up when he vacated the belt, because guess what? If he was still a champ and then he was moving up, then he'd get a cut of pay-per-view points, win or lose.
Yeah.
That's where he screwed up.
Yeah. I think they should pay him. I will say I don't think he should get any more than anybody else has in any of the big fights. Like you give him as much as you've given a Conor or a Dustin in their last fight. I don't think you don't have to pay him more than that. If he's trying to ask for some ungodly amount, which obviously we don't know, then
I'm sure he is. And by the way, if the fight goes off, it's worth it for Dana. But Dana's sitting there risk assessment saying, I could probably make 80% of that still making a Derek Lewis and Ngannou fight, and I'm not worried about either of them backing out.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he's got how many other guys does he have in there? He's got Curtis Blades, he's got Volkov, he's got Gane, Rosenstrike. Nah. I mean, he's got guys that can step in there. And he's got guys coming up.
This is a very real thing that I feel like people just don't understand too. Guess why the McGregor Jose Aldo fight rematch never happened? Because Jose Aldo pulled out, and he had pulled out a few times of other fights.
Yeah,
and that's why Dana didn't push for it, and it's why Conor didn't care for it. He's like, we went and did this world tour, and then you pulled out 3 weeks before or 2 weeks before the fight or whatever.
You can't play these games nowadays, man. It's just the sport is evolving. There's too many fighters. And I'm not saying that
Jose, that he deserved a rematch. He should have gotten it. And I'm not saying he didn't have a legit injury. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
But it's like some guys never pull out. Those guys are the guys that are always going to get the favorable treatment. Sorry, it's just that's the business side of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, the UFC is a business, and they're in the business of making money. And
just had this conversation with a local up and coming fighter, and I'm not going to say who because I don't have his permission. But we were talking about some names for him to fight, and he goes, "I'm not going to fight that guy. He's not reliable." And he goes, "I'll fight this guy, and this guy who are not as big of fights or good at fights because he goes, I know they'll show up." He goes, "That's all I care about." Dude, I do the same thing. When Pat or Kevin or Pat with Steel Fist, when they offer me a fight, I go look at their Tapology. I want to see how many canceled fights they have, and I want to know why they canceled.
I don't blame you guys because I wouldn't want to go through everything that you guys go. I know I don't want to prep for a show for 16 weeks only for the show to say, you can't compete today. It's like, well, wait a minute. I just put my life into this for the last couple months, and now you're going to tell me this guy's not going to show up.
Dude, it was my biggest fear is that November is that me or Johan felt fine, but one of us tested positive for COVID, and we didn't know it. That was my biggest fear. Once we got to fight week, and I'm like, okay, the fights are happening. Little did I know they were going to pull the rug out from under us, but I wasn't even worried about it once it come to fight week. Then it was just like, oh no, like what if one of us pops and we both feel fine and don't know that we have it?
For as much as this mental thing is such an important aspect of the fight game, with COVID now and in that fight, and there's nothing you can do. It's not the guy's fault if he gets popped and can't do it. That's hard, man. It would be hard for me to train to do something knowing in the back of my head that it could be pulled. Like, I mean, I know you got to keep going, but a lot of people aren't that mentally strong to do that. I would say probably more people are on that side of the fence than on the, hey, we're just going to keep pushing. There's not very many Cole Schaefers out there that get freaking 3 fights canceled back to back to back and then just keep grinding. Not very many of those guys out there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So I'm just saying, if Stipe really wants a rematch, he deserves it, and I fully support him doing that.
Yeah.
But like that's another guy too. I hope he goes out on top. Like, you know what? I would root even harder for Stipe in the rematch and him get his belt back, win that trilogy, and then say, cool, I've done it long enough. I'm out.
He doesn't have anything to prove.
He doesn't have anything else. That's what Khabib. I think that's why I'm so okay. Like some people are like, well, Khabib, he still has the Conor rematch. He has this fight. He has that fight. And I'm like, he doesn't have anything else to prove.
Watch his
fights. He's the man. He's the man.
Rewatch his fights, and you tell me
nobody beats him. Michael Chandler, Oliveira, Gaethje again, Poirier again, Conor again. Doesn't matter, dude. He beats all of them. He has nothing else to prove. Bye. He has enough money. He doesn't need any more money. He's like, bye. I fully respect retiring on top like that when you have nothing else left to prove, and that's where Miocic is at. But I mean, we really, the conversation could very quickly become like, how long does Francis hold on to this belt? Because
it could be a while.
With the way he puts people away too, it's like,
and he's getting better. That was the question you and I had. Was like, did he get better? I mean,
Well, yeah.
He tried to take Stipe down. He tried for a takedown.
He did. He did take him down. I mean, Stipe got up, but he did.
Yeah. I mean,
so
he's a young heavy at 34. He's right there, man. He's still got a good 5-year run he could go in. 3, 4, 5 years he could run.
He could easily be the heavyweight champ for the next 3-4 years. Easily.
Yeah. I mean,
because you can't get close enough to knock him out. You get close enough to knock him out, he can knock you out.
Who in the top 15 right now do you see being a problem for him, other than Derek Lewis?
Okay, I'll tell you the people that can give him a fight that has a path to victory. One is Jon Jones for me. I'm just saying, if the fight ever happens, that's a fight that's something where I'm like, I'm not positive he just wins.
Yeah.
Right. The next one for me is a rematch with Stipe.
Okay.
I think Derek Lewis gives him a fight. I wish I could say Curtis Blades give him a fight, but he's already knocked him out twice. I think Volkov gives him a fight. I think Volkov's very interesting with how tall he's 6'10". He's very tall. He's very tall. He's long, and he looked great in his last fight. That is the list. Tom Aspinall, once he gets a little more experience, maybe
he's probably a year or two away, maybe.
I'm just saying. I'm just
more big fights. How big is Tom? Tom's pretty big, isn't he?
He is. He's a big boy. He's a big athlete. What is he? 6'4"?
I'm gonna look it up right now. I almost got it. He's 6'5", 78-inch reach. Weighs in at 240, 244, almost 245. So yeah, he's up there.
Really light on his feet too. I like Tom.
If he can get a couple big wins against some of these, I don't even think he's in the top 10 yet. No, he's 13. If he can creep in and get a couple wins in this top 10, which I think he can beat in a lot of those guys in that top 10, really, till you get to 5, then I think he starts having problems.
Oh boy.
Lots of fun stuff. Well, we got Steel Fist coming up May 1st. We got
Fierce coming up,
which I think we're going to have Cody on this week, right?
Yep. Cody said he'll come on this week and come talk about that.
Who else do we have coming on? Do we have anybody else coming on this week? Trying to get Harry Hunsinker on this week.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Tyson Cowan said he would try to come on this week.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were supposed to get him on last week.
Pretty interesting story. Yeah, man, it's good.
Sweet. Well, we just talked for over an hour again.
It's what we do. just ask our wives.
Yeah. All right. Guess we'll see you guys. Oh, there's no fights this weekend, is there?
What?
I think we're taking a week off this weekend.
What? There's Bellator.
There's Bellator this weekend. You got
Bellator?
Yep. Bellator is on Friday. What's on Saturday? Nope. Yeah. Demetrius Johnson is next Wednesday.
Yeah, on my wife's birthday.
Get up at 5:30. You can watch it. Just get up at 5:30 in the morning and watch it, bro.
I'm not getting up at 5:30 to watch fights. You're out of your mind.
Who else is on that card? Oh, Eddie Alvarez is fighting on there.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Anyways.
Wow. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this Bellator card.
Are they starting that light? They're starting that light heavyweight tournament too, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the co-main is Nurmagomedov and Mike Hamill kid?
Mike Hamill, yeah. My money's on Nurmagomedov.
Oh yeah, I'm betting the house on him. I don't care if this is his first big test. I don't care. He's
gonna murder that dude.
Neiman Gracie's on here against Jason Jackson. Roger Huerta, man, he's been around for a while.
Roger Huerta's been around. Let's see. The next UFC card is in 12 days, and that's the Tor Vittori card on ABC.
Oh, that's right. That is on ABC. All right.
Sam Alvey versus Julian Marquez. Mackenzie Dern's back. Ooh, Mike Perry's back against Daniel Rodriguez.
Mike Perry.
Oh, yeah. Jim Miller versus Joe Selecki. Wow.
Norma Dumont's on this card. Hunter Azur's on there is fighting Jack Shore. That's a good fight.
That's a really good fight.
It's a very good fight. Is this Jack Shore's? Has he fought in the UFC? He's had one, right? Two. Yeah, he's had two wins in the UFC.
Oh man, this is actually a pretty decent little fun card.
It's a great card for to be on ABC too. Love it. Impa Kasagnia is on there against Sasha Palatnikov. William Knight's on there. That one's a reschedule. Cool. Right on, man. Well,
and then we have UFC Fight Night in a few weeks with Robert Whitaker versus Kelvin Gastelum.
I love that matchup. Love it.
And that whole card looks really fun. Jeez.
Just more stuff for us to talk about.
We'll get out of here.
All right. We will holler at you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.